Hello world, and welcome back to Minecraft Memoir. This is episode 34. In the last episode, we worked on making these pathways, building up this cliff here, and making this sort of intersection area. I still think it looks really nice, but in between episodes, I've kind of decided I would like a few more posts here. I said in the last one that like adding this one in kind of made this area feel lower to the ground, and I like that effect. So I think I might put like one more, maybe like here and maybe one there. But that's for later. So in today's episode, I said that we would start working on finally the building for our Nether portal. You can see I actually did some building, but I had a sort of epiphany the other day. So I deleted the two clips I recorded earlier because they stray a lot from the idea I had. So initially I was thinking we would do some sort of temple barn design. And I think we still will. It'll definitely still be a temple of some sort, and it'll probably have elements of a barn in it. But I was harvesting sugarcane and I realized, what if we made this a big library? Like, that would look so cool. And it would make sense, you know, a portal in a library, kind of all mystical looking stuff. So I hollowed out this area down here. Ooh, big lag spike. But I think we're gonna have to hollow out a lot more. Um, I would like a giant first floor with like a maze-like library down here. And then on a second floor, I would like some walkways that you can kind of peer over and look down at the, maybe it's not an actual maze, but you know, the rows of bookshelves. And then there will probably be a third floor, or at least like a capstone type of thing that looks a little more ornate. And there will probably be the nether portal up there on the third floor as well. So I said this drop chute would be some sort of silo, and it might still, but I was thinking if we make it look more like a temple, we might just add like more of these, and it'll just noisy, and it'll just kind of like blend in, you know? So since we're doing a library, we're going to need a lot of wood, which means we need to go chop down some trees. Okay, so I am here by the button-sized lake, and you can see I've kind of gone crazy with the torches. Um, I was kind of traveling around looking for a good place to chop down some trees, and I wanted to travel this way, but there's a ton of mobs. And I feel like I'm going to be over here enough that I might as well make it safe now. So this was about like 12, 16 stacks of torches. You can see I also put some like on the mountains there. So most of the areas we're interacting with are safe now, which is really good because I was getting snuck up on, you know, spiders coming under trees or skeletons like shooting me from around a corner. And I've died a few times here. So coming this way, you'll see, I think in previous episodes I chopped down some trees over here, but I've decided to replant and try to make a tree farm. It's not really a tree farm, but some sort of nursery, you know, to grow some saplings, because I wasn't really replanting any. They're 4 blocks apart. I don't think there's any issue with how close they are together, but there could be, I think there needs to be a column of air above them. And if leaves from the adjacent sapling cover that, then it'll be a problem. So I'm basically just waiting on these guys to grow. I think I'm going to travel off this way, chop down some trees over here, and then once I get back here, these guys will hopefully have grown, and I can chop these ones. I actually think I should make a second tree farm just so I can do that process a little more efficiently. Like I can harvest one farm while the other one's growing, and then after I've harvested the first, I replant, go to the second one, and so on. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get probably 10, 20 stacks of logs here before we start building anything with the library. Ooh, okay. So the tree farm is right over there, and I just found some pumpkins. So let's see if we actually get a lot or if it's just that one I see there. Pumpkins are also a resource that we don't really have a lot of. I initially made some of my underground flooring with pumpkins. It is indeed one pumpkin. That is so unfortunate. Yeah, I initially made some of my underground flooring with pumpkins, but they are a very rare resource, and you can't replant them anymore, or not anymore, but yet. So I really have to hang on to these. Okay, so it does look like we're generating some new chunks here, so I kind of wanted to show those. I'd also like to note we're probably not going to finish the library in today's episode. Actually, I know for a fact we will not finish it today's episode. That's going to be a very big build. So I'm not all too worried about taking up episode time, just kind of showing you guys what I'm doing here. It might honestly take more than two. We'll have to see. I mean, you know, it's definitely not going to be as big as the viaduct system, but I would like it to be a large looking library. Ooh, nice alliteration there. And also, what a nice area here. Oh my gosh. The lakes look so nice, and there's like stuff running through them. Oh wow. I don't think I want to keep going this way though. I actually think I'm going to turn around and head this way. So, again, the tree farm is off that way. I think it's pretty much on the other side of this hill. And I think I saw some mushrooms, which aren't like terribly rare, but we can't grow them in this version yet, so I do kind of want to collect any that I find. Yeah, nice. Especially the red ones, I like them way more. Ooh, nice. Yeah, so I think I'll probably chop down this little forest here, and then since it's a relatively flat area, I'll probably plant the other bit of trees right here. I think the color of the grass changed. I wonder if that's already in this version. I don't know. Like, obviously the color of the grass changed from older versions, but in one of the future versions, there's that, like, fade of greens, depending on what biome you're in. And this definitely looks a little more yellow. So, but yeah, let me just chop all these guys down. If someone were to ask me what my personal hell was, I'd honestly just show them a clip of this. It's terrible. This is so mind-numbing. I've been punching leaves for probably the last like 3 hours, and you know, that's all I've completed. I've got all of this left. We were really running low on saplings. We've got just under 5 stacks now, which is good, but I really want to make sure I like don't have to harvest saplings like anymore at all, because this is such a pain. So I'm gonna get through punching all of these leaves out, harvest these logs, and then we'll start working on the library. Just finished chopping all of the trees here, and this is our final result with saplings. Quite pleased. It's just under 10 stacks. And you can see I got, what, just under 7 stacks of logs. And I think we have another 22 at home. So I definitely overshot that 10 to 20 stacks margin, which is good because I really don't love collecting wood. So we have a bit of a backstock now. So while I was destroying these trees, I made this like platform with the leaves here so that I could stand on it while I was destroying things above. And then I destroyed the leaves underneath because yeah, I also wanted to collect those. And I was left with this. And I actually think I might leave it like this. Maybe in the future we can build a like tree farm. Not really a tree farm because it's not like there's no bone meal yet. But like maybe we'll put like a glass floor over top of this and then some pathways and then you know on top of these logs we'll put like dirt blocks to grow more saplings. So I think that could look pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just gonna head back and we'll start building. Okay, so now that we're done chopping down trees for now, I can actually start working on hollowing out this first floor. You can see I already started here. I'm trying to get an idea of how I want this room to look. Initially, I was thinking I would have it be a sort of like a boomerang shape, where the angle would be on this diagonal here. However, I think most libraries need a reception desk. We're going to have to capture somebody and put them there, and they will be our receptionist. But I would like that to be centered on the door, or maybe there'll be two. There'll be one on each side. But regardless, the center being here is too far away from where I actually want the door to be here. So instead, what we might do is hollow out that way, make this length. It's basically going to be like a very angular C shape where it'll be one long hallway down that way, a pretty short section here, and then another long hallway mirrored from this side over there. Only thing is, if we did that, I would have to build up some of this landscape too, or we'd have to dig a considerably farther distance into that hill there than we do this one, because it is such a short slope, there we go, right here, that we would either have to build it up or go further in. So let me figure out what I want to do, at least with the shape of this first room. Okay, I keep recording this clip and keep messing up. I accidentally muted my mic in my settings, so it didn't catch my voice, like, at all. And then I kept misspeaking, and oh my gosh, it's really hard. It's really late at night. But I've been clearing some area out here, and I'm seeing a general shape for the first floor here. So it's going to be like a dog bone, where this middle bit is kind of narrower, and then there's going to be two, like, wider ends. Each of the wider ends will have, like, rows of bookshelves, you know, like study tables, whatever. And then this middle bit will have, you know, whatever small tables, and then the reception desk, maybe desks, plural, I don't know. And on the second floor, it'll really just be the, like, kind of viewing balconies over the large areas, so that you can see, like, the rows of books from above. Especially like that maze idea I was suggesting earlier. I would like to see a solution from above, so that anybody going through it could, you know, navigate it. I also want to put little poke holes on the second floor. They don't have to go into very big rooms, but I think having tiny rooms, or any rooms at all, will make it just look a little livelier, like there's more stuff going on to this library. But I think what I need to do now is still clear out some more area, actually. I think it's still too small. I want to go further this way on both of the wide sections, because I think I might be able to sneak a window in, like, there on that wall, and then maybe one on that wall. So, yeah. Okay, so I did a bit of mining off camera, but no, I did do quite a bit of mining. I definitely meant to take a break and show you a progress update a lot sooner, but there's other people living in my house, obviously. IRL, not in this one. And, you know, they've got things going on, so I didn't want to interrupt them with my recordings. I try to find, like, a good time in the day when nobody's really busy to actually record these clips. So I was hollowing out this room here, and I was kind of struck by inspiration when I decided I wanted this side to go a bit further to the left than I initially planned. You can see it's not centered on the door like I had said. Instead, this giant room here kind of makes an S shape. And then the initial, you know, hallway I dug here, I did extend it a bit further as well, but it's definitely not as big as this room. You can see most of my torches are spread apart by 5 blocks. Or I guess 4 or 3, depending on how you want to look at it. 3 small ones, 3 empty ones, 5 if you consider the filled ones. Anyway, so there's only 3 of those sets of torches. I hope I'm explaining this well. And there's 5 here, 5 rows, but there's 3 on that side. So it kind of looks like a curvy H. I really got carried away here, but I have a great idea. So there's a symbol that shows up frequently in math. It's called an Aleph. Um, it's the first symbol of the Hebrew alphabet, or I think there's a Hebrew abjads, because they use a different language system. But it frequently comes up in math. And since I'm a math guy, it frequently shows up in work that I do. Actually, that's not true. It doesn't frequently show up in my work, but I am familiar with it. So I really like the shape of that symbol. And I think that an Aleph as the kind of inspiration for the shape of this library would be super cool. So if you know what an Aleph looks like, it's kind of like this curvy H shape. But then on the end of this little nub here, there's another tiny curve. And then that curve over there, or at the end of that tiny nub, it should just continue into a curve. We're not going to follow that exactly. And again, if none of this explanation makes sense, just follow along. You'll kind of see what it looks like. But since we've got this huge room dug out, I need to decide if I want to try dressing up this first floor before I even start the second floor, or if I want to frame out the second floor before I dress up the first. So let me figure that out before I proceed. All right, yeah, so I do want to hollow out a bit more of the second floor before I start working on the first. So you can see literally the process I followed is I just go up, keep one layer so that I can actually walk on it, and I kind of mirror myself down. I figure out the coordinates of like the torches below me, and then place a torch up here. I carve out the whole 2 blocks of this first floor, this, and then I just dig straight up until I literally can't anymore. And if that breaks out of the mountain, so be it. I'll figure that out in the future. But, oop, didn't fall. But I'm pretty much just going to carve out this ceiling, that one, that one, that one. Make it all look like this. Wow, so surprise, unsurprised, that took a really long time. um, I mean, you figure I basically just had to dig out this whole area again. The only plus side being that I was kind of in the dirt layer for a lot of it. And, you know, dirt digs a lot faster than stone mines, thankfully. So it wasn't too bad. And here's how we're looking now. Like I said, I just dug a whole nother layer. And this region here is obviously the skeleton spawner that I can't really get rid of. But I didn't think it would be quite this big and right in the middle of the library. So we'll have to figure something out there. But I don't really want to keep working on this right now. Also, this layer here is the layer that signifies the start of the second floor. I ended up making the first layer 7 blocks tall instead of 6, with that little like ceiling that we had. I gave that extra block to the first floor, because I think I'd prefer having the first floor taller than the second floor. But I still might change that. I have to see. I am expecting it'll probably be like at least 6 blocks away from the edge here for the second floor walkways, and maybe we'll even have it hanging out some for some added width. Oh, and here are the items that I've gathered along the way. I started switching over to iron tools because diamonds were just way too pricey. I've confirmed that diamond tools have a durability of 255 and iron tools have a durability of 127 in this version, which means that diamond tools are only twice as efficient or twice as durable. So it's really just not worth using them. So yeah, got a ton of cobblestone, way more than I expected. So now we need to work on getting a better sugarcane farm setup. We've got this lake over here, and while that's good, it's not producing nearly enough sugarcane for the amount of books that we'll need for this place. I actually haven't checked. That's a total lie. I haven't actually checked if we have enough books already, or if we'll need more, or if that production is not enough. But I want to make another farm, because I think we're going to need more. So let me head over to the greenhouse, and we'll get started. Cool. So now that we're back here, we can get an eye at what we're going to do to this place. I don't remember if I recorded this, but I dug out this small area here to kind of get an idea of where I wanted to go. Um, and it kind of led me to a downward sloping design. Um, so just this first bit is going to be this sharp 45-degree angle stair here. And then everything further on will be, like 30 or less. So what I think is, I don't really have much of a plan for the inside here, but I would like the visual on the outside to be multiple separate like window jutouts that are each at like this one is at, you know, one block level, and then the next one is one below it, and then one after it is below that, and so it kind of makes this slope, but they're all separate. I hope that came across. If not, you'll see. But internally, that'll mean that we'll have probably, maybe we'll have like a 4 wide walkway. We'll actually have an even number for once. And then sugarcane rows on each side. And then it'll go down like one, and then, another thing of sugarcane. That's not the most efficient sugarcane design. I can show you that later at some point. But this will literally just be pretty much 1-to-1 block source or water source per sugarcane. Or maybe it'll be 2-to-1 if we can swing that. But yeah, so let me get clearing out here. So I know I said I was going to do 4 blocks, but this is 7, which is definitely more. I decided I wanted a landing that was a 3x3 here. At least just for this first layer. Future ones would probably only have like a 1 block wide landing. You can see I was trying to decide if I wanted it to go down one more or not. But that's for the future. So we'll focus on this for now. I also put in these lines of dirt. I think this will probably just be the design for the sugarcane here, where in here, this will be a channel of water. This will be a solid walkway, and this will be a channel of water. Because they only need one source of water to grow. But I kind of had like a vision of what I would do for these, I don't even know, the outside of the building, where it would be like a small slope up and then a long slope down, or like the gutters, I suppose. And I can still do that, but I feel like this one's a little too wide to get that idea across. So I'll do something different here, but then in the subsequent ones, I'll do that first idea. So let me figure out this front face here before I start building anything else, because I think that will kind of dictate, what the design here looks like. Ooh, one more thing I forgot to mention. While figuring out how far I wanted this to go forward, and how far I wanted that wall to go back, really, I just decided that I wanted at least 1 block here from this wooden post. So I don't actually know how far it'll jut out here. Like, as far as this room goes, I don't know how far forward it'll go. For at least this corner, it'll stop here. And then there'll probably be like an airspace here where this cobblestone is, and then more real building blocks here, because it'll kind of follow this little design. So I suppose there'll probably be like a piece of wood here. Yeah, and this will probably be wood planks. Anyway, but over here is really what I wanted to show. This wall doesn't go as far back as this wall. It also goes forward one to try to mirror that. This might change, but I'm going to leave it this distance for now. I can always extend it later on, but this will be a good starting point. All right, so I just realized I actually messed up in a bunch of the measurements here. I said I wanted to be on an even, but that might not be possible with the kind of layout for the sugarcane that I'm imagining. I also thought that these pathways were going to be only 1 wide, but that's incredibly unrealistic because that squishes the farms too much. And with the like window design I was talking about, that just won't work. So I'm going to have to figure this out in a separate world. I'll do it like in my test world and then bring it over here like I did before. So instead, let me show you that optimal sugarcane farm I was talking about. So over here by the reeds that we planted, I pre-dug a couple of holes for our demonstration. Now, before I do it, I'd like to point out, this might be pretty obvious to some of you, but it wasn't to me when I first encountered it on like a Reddit post somewhere. So I figured I'd show it off, just in case anybody hasn't seen it. It's good to know. So as you may know, a single water source can host 4 sugarcane plants. And that being the case, they kind of make this plus-shaped design. So to make the most efficient farm design, you just kind of have to tessellate these plus shapes. So you can see these holes I've dug are the holes where the water will go. So if I put it in here and place the reeds around it, you'll see that there's no spots where the reeds can't be placed. And then, you place them here and there, and it'll be completely full. Now, if you are building this in like a square room, the water sources near the edges will have to be different because they don't like to play nice in square rooms. This is definitely not a square tessellated design, if that makes any sense. So if you do decide to do this, just keep that in mind. I'm not going to be doing this in the sugarcane farm. Maybe somewhere else in the world I will, but as it is, I'd like to just do strips. I think they'd look a little bit better. So, yeah. But this video's taken about 3 weeks to put out. I'm getting pretty busy. The semester started. So, thanks for the loose sheep. Yeah, I just want to put it out now. I know we didn't get a whole lot of progress done, but hopefully in the next episode, we'll get a little more of the sugarcane farm done. But definitely the library will get a lot more progress on. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.